You're listening to an audio article by the Common Constitutionalist. Today's article is entitled Bipartisan Obamacare Fix is Dead, but Not for Long. It's as we predicted. The Republicans' stance regarding Obamacare went from 7 years of clean, full repeal bills to repeal and replace, to no repeal, just fix, to now no repeal, no fix, just extend. The Republicans, at least some of them, are as predictable as Sunup. And just as predictable, Republican Senator Lamar Alexander and Democrat Senator Patty Murray, apparent authors of the Obamacare stabilization bill, are being congratulated on their bipartisan effort. But why? Bipartisanship is held in such high regard, yet I can't name a single piece of bipartisan legislation which has been anything but damaging to the country. President Trump congratulated Alexander on his hard work and has subsequently been for and against the bill. As of yesterday afternoon, both he and Speaker Paul Ryan finally came out against it. Trump says he does not want to bail out insurance companies, which is a key part of the bipartisan effort. But we conservatives have been preaching for years that what is considered bipartisanship in Washington is nothing more than code for doing the Democrats' bidding. It's become synonymous with weak Republicans willing to cross the aisle to give those who still control the government virtually anything they wish. Bipartisanship means the right compromises and the left does not. Check that. Bipartisanship means we on the right are forced into compromise by means of our weak and feckless leaders. I personally can't blame the left for pushing their agenda. It's why they're there. They want single-payer, fully socialized health care. And frankly, they should be applauded for sticking to their guns, not willing to give an inch. They understand the only path to eventual single-payer is through continuation of Obamacare. Any shift, no matter how minor, back toward a market-driven system will make it much harder to establish single-payer. Luckily for the Dems, they can continue to count on Republican establishment hacks like Lamar Alexander, who just doesn't seem to care. They are just politicians, not weighed down by pesky constitutional and conservative ideology. I suppose they sleep easier without it. Of course, the disingenuous swine Chuck Schumer had to weigh in. Quote, "This president keeps zigging and zagging, so it's impossible to govern," unquote, he said on the Senate floor. Quote, "You cannot govern a country, you cannot make America great again if you don't know what's in the bills and don't have a consistent policy about them," unquote. Well, Chucky, I don't care if Trump zigs and zags as long as he eventually makes the right decision. And if I may make an unrelated observation, isn't it interesting that the bill intends to inject upwards of $30 billion to stabilize insurance markets? Somehow they can come up with $30 billion to bail out Obamacare, but we can't afford to begin funding the border wall. But lest we think the Alexander-Murray bill is thankfully a dead issue, we should think again. Business Insider reported yesterday that, quote, "Statements this morning by President Trump and House Speaker Paul Ryan, critical of the deal reached between Senators Lamar Alexander and Patty Murray, should not be taken as a death knell for the bill. It was always unlikely that the measure would move on its own," said Rick Weisenstein of Cowan Washington Research Group. He added, quote, "The more likely scenario is that the Alexander-Murray gets wrapped up in what is likely to be a very large year-end measure," unquote. Translation, it will be hidden in some huge year-end omnibus spending bill and passed at the 11th hour just before Christmas when few are paying attention. Thank you for listening.